This is former TNA World Champion Raven, and you're listening to TNA Cross the Line podcast. Quote the Raven, nevermore. And don't cross the line. Or do cross the line. I'm not really sure if you're supposed to, you're not supposed to. I don't know. Whatever. You get it.
TNA Wrestling. Cross the line.
And we're back with episode 165 of the TNA Crossline podcast. I am Colling Jr. and with me as always is Dallas Gridley. In Dallas, we are only 3 weeks away from not one, but 2 Six Sides of Steel matches. Of course, the first one being a 6-man tag where it's allegedly going to be Kevin Nash, DDP, and Sean Waltman against Jeff Jarrett, Monty Brown, and The Outlaw. But Kevin Nash was recently attacked backstage, and as you noted, he doesn't know if it's worth coming to TNA for a $5,000 paycheck after driving 80 miles. So he's in question. He may not be there. Who knows? But then we also know about AJ Styles defending 2 women in the back of a pickup truck from Abyss, and that has justified a cage match between the two. Also taking place at Lockdown. And of course, last week, we found out before the match even took place that Elix Skipper would be challenging his former tag team champion partner, and current X Division champion Christopher Daniels at Lockdown. Now that's not in a cage because there's only 2.
There's only 2.
Not all of them, just 2.
Just 2 matches. That's it.
That's all.
There is no other matches.
None. Now we also again saw last week after Abyss's match, there was a confrontation between Abyss and Raven teaming up, and they brawled with AJ Styles and Jeff Hardy when Abyss was about to hurt Cassidy Riley even some more. So that's probably going to be something to keep track of potentially here. And of course, we had a Monty Brown sit-down interview where he was like, listen, everybody's going to respect me, including you, Mike Tenay. We didn't really get any answers about why he did what he did.
No, and he didn't even answer what Jeff Jarrett owes him, even though I think it's pretty fucking clear.
Yeah, I mean, didn't Jarrett basically tell him, like, you know what you're getting, I owe you a title match or something?
Yeah, it was very clear, even though he was asked again. And, like, what else could Jarrett possibly owe him? It's fucking, of course, it's a title shot. Yeah, it was a very interesting week last week, but as we noted, it was the last of a 3-week taping, and on today's episode, we are starting the next set of 3 tapings. But we'll see how it goes. Usually the first one, I think, is probably going to be the best out of the 3. I feel like that's usually how it goes. But we'll see what happens. I mean, we pretty much said what happened last week. I don't really think there's much else to cover. The only other interesting note is that he's Michael Shane again. Not Matt Bentley.
Yeah.
Which we'll discuss very briefly during today's episode while we're watching the show. But Dave says they must be ignoring the legal threat. At least that in his little brief thing about last week's episode. He was also told that the X Division match was good, which it was. But the crowd was chanting Ale House, which is the post-show hangout for a lot of the wrestlers. I did not catch on to that, but we were also talking a lot during that specific match. But I think that's pretty funny. And they also could have edited that out, or at least toned it down.
Right.
So, yeah. I'm pretty curious about the stuff with Styles and Hardy against, like, Raven and Abyss. Do I think that we're going to have a long-term thing? No. But I think it was fun. A little tease at the end.
Yeah, I think that there's definitely a TV match being set up.
I hope so. They better not disappoint me.
Yeah.
I guess we can just dive right into it. Not a super ton to talk about again. There's more than last week, but in coming weeks we'll have a little bit more. Since they do these tapings 3 at a time at this point in time, a lot of the stuff ends up being more related to the coming shows that we'll be watching the next 2 weeks in particular. But we still got some fun stuff to talk about. So I guess let's dive right in. And I have handful, maybe 3, 4 things to discuss, 5 things during this show. So we'll talk about those once we get there. But to start us off here, TNA drew a .23 rating on the March 25th. And on the replay on March 26th, it did a .28. So pretty average stuff as normal here. Now, the interesting stuff that I think we're really wanting to talk about more is the meeting that Jeff Jarrett and potentially Jerry Jarrett had with FSN and the Spike TV deal and stuff like that. So let's get right into it, because this is our current meat on the bone, I think, in our news section. So TNA officials, which is Jeff, Jerry Jarrett, Dixie Carter, and David Sahadi, had a meeting on March 28th at Spike in New York. Doug Herzog, who had Spike, was not at the meeting, but they met with mid-level Spike TV executive about getting on the network. Jeff and Jerry did much of the talking, with Jeff pushing that wrestling historically delivers good ratings, and Jerry talking about the economics. Sahadi tried to position TNA as the future of wrestling and that the WWE was the past. Which is kind of funny at the time, because I feel like they're kind of killing it here in 2005 again, but what do I know? Maybe my nostalgia is speaking there, but yeah. Those at Spike say there isn't any real interest, and the discussions didn't necessarily center around anything from Monday night. The feeling from Spike is that even if TNA could do a 1.5 primetime rating, that there's no evidence based on their track record on FSN that they could do even close to that. Spike would be better off running MacGyver repeats that can draw the same rating, cost nothing, and bring in far more advertising dollars. What kills wrestling isn't that people aren't willing to watch it on TV, but the attitude toward wrestling from the ad community. Spike did call back on March 29th and asked for a tape of some full shows, which TNA people saw as a positive. The TNA people believe Spike still wants wrestling, even though they publicly say otherwise. But then again, in a meeting, that is what they're going to say. TNA has tried to work some sort of deal with UFC, but claim UFC has been completely arrogant about their success in total denial, even with the facts stating otherwise, that they draw wrestling fans as opposed to boxing fans. It's a pretty interesting connection. Jeff Jarrett's meeting with FSN the week before saw him try to get the deal changed to where FSN would pay them instead of the other way around, citing their rating success there on the network. Now, as for FSN, the numbers are strong. FSN made it clear that the deal wasn't going to change, and they are recognizing TNA very well may go somewhere else if someone offers them a deal for less money to pay. FSN has offered more slots for replays and occasional specials if TNA continues the same financial deal. Jeff ended the meeting telling them that he was talking with a few other networks. Now, we can confirm there is at least a third party besides FSN and Spike they are talking with, but it would also be the weakest of the 3 alternatives, and would get back to them this week with his decision. TNA got the meeting because Dixie Carter has a friend in Spike management. TNA has offered all 3 networks they're negotiating with a partnership in the promotion as an added bargaining chip. So this is very interesting stuff. I like loving this. I love the bargaining between different networks and stuff like that, especially because, as it's even noted, they're doing good numbers for FSN, but it's not like crazy.
No, yeah.
So it's kind of fun to see them kind of go around. Now, I did not know Dixie Carter had a friend at Spike. And I think, as we all know in real life, if you know people, things can work out pretty good for you.
Yeah. Now, early on in that, they were saying that UFC attracts wrestling fans more so than boxing fans, or what was that?
Yeah. So basically, that's noting that TNA is trying to work on some kind of deal with the UFC. I don't know what that deal necessarily is, but saying, well, you guys draw more wrestling fans versus like boxing fans.
And I think that's true too, because if you really look at,
I think it's so interesting. I never even thought about it like that.
if you look at how UFC is presented with like video packages, and these guys are creating essentially like,
Dude, it is
characters or egos of themselves.
Yeah.
Like Rampage Jackson and like how like Tito Ortiz being I can't remember his nickname off the top of my head, but he had one as well. You know, and Ken Shamrock, obviously a UFC wrestler, back to UFC, whatever. It's presented like you would see a wrestling show presented.
Yeah, 100%.
And, you know, boxing isn't like that. Boxing is very just kind of cut and dry. You know, they go to the ring, they box for 12 rounds or whatever, but UFC is more of an entertainment.
Yes, 100.
Like show.
It's only evolved even more into that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I think that's what makes it so like entertaining, is that there's a lot of different personalities. That's really what like UFC fighters are. They're more so like personalities than fighters. Like Conor McGregor. Yeah, he's a UFC fighter, but he's definitely like a personality too.
Yeah, but because you also want to see what stupid shit he's gonna say and like who's he gonna talk trash to and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
They're cutting promos after the fights.
Yeah.
At least
and that's
now.
Exactly
at least now.
You know, calling people out, you know.
Yeah, dude.
All that stuff. So
I just watched like the video where you got to help me here, but Brock Lesnar got like called into the octagon when he was in the crowd. Is it Daniel Cormier? Is that who?
No,
it was?
it was probably John Jones.
No, I don't think it was John Jones, the one I just watched. I don't know. It's the one where Brock Lesnar gets in and he's in the suit and he's like, "I'm gonna beat your ass, motherfucker," or something like that. And I was just dying.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that wouldn't have been John Jones.
No, this is like Brock was in the crowd, and the guy
was
like
there. Okay.
And he like called them in, and like Brock got up and into the. It was so funny.
Did he fight Daniel Cormier?
I hope I don't got the names mixed up. I'm not a big UFC fan, so. Oh no! Hold on. Oh no!
There's like Alistair Overeem.
Yeah, it is. No, it's right. I was right.
It's Daniel Cormier.
Yeah, it's it. Wait, hold on. I can't see my camera. It's this. That's the video I'm talking about where he like called them. Yeah. And he starts like screaming at the camera. Yeah, I like that one. I just watched that. What was the rumor that you said you heard?
Well, I've heard that he wants He didn't actually fight him though. That's weird. There might be a potential John Jones Brock Lesnar fight.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, I wonder when that Cormier thing was, because I don't think he ever fought him.
You say it and they just closed it. Daniel.
Yeah, no, he didn't. He never fought him.
It happened at UFC 226.
So that happened well after his final fight.
It was 4 years ago.
Yeah, so Lesnar's last fight was at UFC 200.
Oh, okay. I just like the part where, wait here. I just like when he yells at the end.
From the beginning, Nagano's a piece of Miocic's the piece of
The uncensored one's way better. I'm coming for you, motherfucker. Yeah, I love that shit. Anyway, yeah. So, super interesting, that connection though. I like it. And who knows? Maybe Brock Lesnar's gonna kick some more ass in the octagon. Who knows? We'll never know. Maybe we'll see him here in TNA in 2005 or 2006. Okay.
Well,
okay.
Lesnar is only 45, so I mean, he probably does have at least a couple of fights in if you wanted to.
Wait, he's 45 right now?
Lesnar is, yeah.
What the fuck? That's like insane to me. I feel like I've been watching him my whole life, so that's like crazy.
Well, I guess Lesnar confirmed in March 2022 that he would stay retired from MMA. So.
Yeah, well, we know how retirement in sports go.
Yeah.
Sports, wrestling, anything. You fucking name it.
You know, speaking of wrestling, this is a bit off topic, but I was, I go on Cage Match all the time, and I'll look up shows, whatever.
Right.
And there was, Silas Young, right? Ring of Honor guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he works, he wrestled for AAW, like that was his home company, and he's had some like crazy matches there or whatever. And one of the shows was labeled like Farewell to Silas Young, and I don't know what it was about. I need to probably watch it to get full context. Something, I'm figuring like it's a retirement thing. Well, like the next month he's back. So it's like, where did he go? And same thing like Flip Gordon and Matt Taven from Northeast Wrestling. It's like, oh, I'll never see you again. You're going to Ring of Honor. And then 6 months later, it's like Flip Gordon returns to fight Rey Mysterio.
I was just going to say, was it like they didn't know if with their Ring of Honor deals that they would be able to?
I don't think that match was around the Ring of Honor tenure.
Oh, that's weird.
So it might have been.
Was he supposed to get like a developmental deal or something?
I don't know. I didn't look that far into it.
Well, that's interesting though.
Yeah. But, Silas Young is a guy that I haven't really watched a lot of his Ring of Honor stuff, but seeing him in AAW, where he's like he's like a top guy, he's wrestling like Claudio and Tyler Black all the time and all these guys. And it's like, wow, this guy's fucking good.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah. And it's just like, I need to maybe see more of his stuff. So,
which is interesting because I like him and I haven't seen probably the better stuff that you're talking about. So,
yeah. I mean, I recently purchased every AAW event from their beginning until right before the pandemic.
Wild man you are.
Along with AIW out of Ohio, every show.
I get that mixed up, dude. Every time you say AAW, I think of AIW.
Yeah. So I have plenty of wrestling stuff that I need to.
Not you.
No, not me. That's nuts.
No way. Well, speaking of other nuts things, there is some heat on Dusty Rhodes because of Destination X on March 13th was way down in buys from previous shows. At least I don't know if we have full numbers by now, but it doesn't matter. So he goes on to say that because they do such huge replay business, the previous 3 shows probably topped 35,000 buys, but Destination X was probably closer to 25,000 with pay-per-view the only real source of significant revenue coming in. The drop was a very big deal. So about 10,000 buys. And kind of continuing on some pay-per-view stuff here. He says, a very interesting stat regarding TNA on pay-per-view. For the first 3 shows, numbers aren't available yet for the 4th show. So once again, what we just said is what they're thinking. So for the first 3, they did about 20% of their original buys, or 6,000 and up on the replay showing. That's considered an incredible number, considering WWE probably doesn't do much more than that on replay shows. The reasons are obvious. Part of it would be the internet feedback, because the first 4 shows were strong, particularly shows 2 and 3. Also, TNA on their shows the Friday after the pay-per-view pushed the replays very hard. He says, since I don't know what percentage of the replay buys came before Friday and after Friday, you don't know which is more important. It will also be interesting to find out if the 4th show, which wasn't good, did a similar number of replay buys. And if it does, then you can rule out internet feedback and chalk it up to the TV hype, because they hyped that show coming out of it just like the other ones. Now, if it's down in replay buys, it'd be because of the internet feedback of the show wasn't up to snuff. Also, Destination X wasn't as bad as he's saying, but it was certainly one of the weaker of the monthly shows that we saw.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm sure we'll talk about that more in the future. I have quite the update on Kevin Nash. It's kind of a long one, so let's just kind of just do it. So, Dave Meltzer notes, more notes on Kevin Nash. He suffered a staph infection in his shin after it was busted up in the match with the Outlaw, which is not good. He also complained about being 0-5 on pay-per-view and 0-4 under Dusty, which Dave says, I can only count 4 matches, but he was on the losing end of all of them, but was only pinned in those once by Jarrett. He then said that Dustin was beaten in the same period. He said Dustin was unbeaten, excuse me. And Dave does know that Dustin did lose once to Raven, but ended up winning the feud. So people were very surprised to see him directly target Dusty Rhodes in his booking, being behind the times in his Torch interview, particularly since Dusty Rhodes has always publicly defended Nash when Nash is criticized. In fact, when some wrestlers were complaining about Nash and Hall making so much money and getting pushed ahead of the rest of the people who thought they had built the company, Rhodes gave a speech saying that Nash and Hall drew the first big buy rates. Some of Nash's complaints are valid when it comes to Rhodes. Certainly the idea that none of the people involved in the match except probably Jeff Jarrett and DDP were aware that Brown was turning in the run-in at the last pay-per-view is valid as hell, as swerving the boys on a live angle just leads to major distrust. Plus, in that specific situation, it was just stupid on every account. I think you and I both kind of agree with that as well. Mm-hmm. Nash would probably already not be happy, since his buddy Scott Hall was double-crossed live in the ring when they did the Abyss run-in after Dusty told everyone Abyss had left the company in a speech earlier that day. But from seeing the pattern, I expect more of that swerving the boys than less, and more distrust and people in management never putting the two things together until after it's too late. It is really amazing how WCW was such a miserable failure, and nobody in the business has figured out how and why. Nash teased in the interview that he didn't know if he'd be back, and that he hinted that he wouldn't be on pay-per-view, but at the TV a week earlier, he was there. Now, I will say I don't know exactly when this interview falls, so this could have been for that write-off when they did the attack backstage, or right before it. There was also no heat on him from management for the interview. Instead, Rhodes was told at the meeting last week with Dixie Carter and Jerry Jarrett that the pickup truck has to go, and that Tracy and Trinity could stay with him, but he didn't want them dressing like Daisy Mays from the farm, and instead wanted them to be more modern and wear hip-hop wear. It goes on to say, boy, are they looking at all the wrong problems to solve. Mm-hmm. Rhodes is still the booker, but his power is way down, and he's being forced to do things he doesn't want. There was super heat on him regarding turning Brown, to the point that nobody respected him and thought that... Hold on, I just skipped the line. I'm sorry. Turning Brown, to the point that it wouldn't shock anyone that Brown is turned back. So there wouldn't be surprised if this kind of flips backwards. He was also told no more Phi Delta Slam, as nobody respected them and thought Rhodes had given them a job because for the past year they have been driving him around all town when he'd come in. And then it just ends, and it says that Scott Hall is even in worse shape than you can imagine these days, which seems very out of place for the rest of this thing. But it literally says ... Hall is even in worse shape than you can imagine. I mean, there's some valid stuff here, but it's pretty interesting how vocal Kevin Nash is, like, "Yo, fuck Dusty Rhodes," essentially.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. It does not appear that he will be at the pay-per-view, at least due to this injury angle. Now, we know how wrestling works. You take someone out, they could come in the last, 10 minutes of the... That's how things happen. But, I don't know. Are we going to see the end of Kevin Nash here in TNA? Is this over?
I mean, I'm so... How long has Dusty been the booker for? 3 months?
Yeah, something. Yeah, something like that. I think I want to say officially since the beginning of the year. Well, because you got to think, Russo left at Victory Road. Mm-hmm. After Victory Road, we kind of had Dutch Mantel and Jeff Jarrett, and I think that kind of got us through the end of the year. So I do think it was kind of like the beginning of 2005.
Okay, I mean, last week you mentioned there's no steam on television in terms of week to week angles, and I think that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I think so.
We've enjoyed the shows, but there's nothing really going week to week where we're like, oh, what's going on? Although there was that one episode where Nash was opening the door, and we were like, oh,
and then they did nothing,
and then nothing happened.
Yeah, that sucked.
But that sort of thing had some level of intrigue there.
Yes, but that's few and far between. I mean, we did the one angle that one week where someone had to beat someone, and then it was Daniels had to fight Sabin the next week. They kind of did a 2-week little mini story thing.
Right.
He had to earn the shot or whatever. So they did very few things like that. But yeah.
And then the Monty Brown thing, turning him heel, is just one of the most head scratching booking decisions I think I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
So that was definitely a blunder.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I hope Kevin Nash is. I hope he's at Lockdown.
He could easily turn back babyface, especially in the cage match. I mean, Monty Brown could just turn on Jarrett.
Yes. Well, that's the perfect time to do it.
Yeah. So I mean, you could just do that.
I think Lockdown is shaping up to be quite interesting. Just even hearing all this stuff of like, who's going to be there? Who's going to turn? Is there going to be a different partner? Or is like, so it's just even that one match has a lot involved in what could potentially happen.
I think that Lockdown could potentially be do or die for Dusty as a booker.
I think that's fair.
Like, what is he going to do? What direction are we going in?
I'm sad about the pickup truck.
I know, man. What is he going to have for an office? Like a regular
that's
room?
his fucking office, bro.
That's ridiculous. Maybe they're getting rid of the truck because of the harassment by Abyss. Maybe there has to be more protection.
Because they almost fell off and they could have had a lawsuit.
Yeah. Yeah, they could have.
Wow. I have one final note before we get going in this show. And it's actually, I probably should have started even with this one because it relates to what we saw last week to a degree. But there has been the realization internally that the 3 weeks between tapings is a bad idea.
Mm.
Wow. I wonder who would have thought that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. The belief is that the company loses momentum for the long breaks. The schedule is made out for the next few months when it comes to TVs, and it will be interesting when the new schedule is made out. Now, obviously, this is a cost-cutting measure, but the TV that we just saw for April 1st contained a ton of filler, like all the great videos that have been played a million times already. Of course, they had the good X Division 4-way match, Skipper going over Michael Shane, Williams, and Sabin that went 21 minutes and 30 seconds. Sabin, who is one of the most underrated guys around, did a great job carrying things. I think everyone was fine, but whatever.
Yeah.
In the end, he went for the spinning head scissors, but we kind of already know what happened there. Now, this was matched to determine Daniel's opponent for Lockdown on April 24th. Now, the positive was putting the guys in a long match made the X Division feel important. But with all the time wasted on the show already, they really needed to give all 4 of them promo time to say what the match meant. Which actually, that would have been a good idea, is to have them all do a little video of them talking about how important it was for them to win.
Mm-hmm.
Now, right now, Daniels and the announcers have to get the division over by themselves, except for the small percentage that buy to see the great actual matches. Now, the other negative is that there was a video package early in the show of the X Division which announced Daniels and Skipper for the pay-per-view before the match aired. And,
so they did mention it.
Yeah. So, and he even says, and this is why, maybe this is a bad idea, is how this happens on a show that is taped 3 weeks earlier shows the level of attention paid in the final editing process.
Yeah,
I mean, crazy.
There's no reason. There's no excuse for it.
And I hate to say this, I think we could have even potentially opened with that X Division match, did the promo after the Monty Brown interview or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that because the Abyss and Cassidy Riley, yes, is a squash match, but the way it ended, the post-match confrontation, would have been a fine close to Impact.
Yeah, it makes me wonder, maybe they wanted to do that and they just flipped it.
Definitely could have. It was weird. Very weird. But it happened.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that doesn't happen again. We are on the first of the 3 weeks tapings for this next set. And I'm hoping that this will be another solid episode of Impact. And like I said, I do have a few things to talk about during the show. I don't think there's anything groundbreaking. I'm just going to tell you right now. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe I forgot.
Yeah, you probably did.
I probably did. A couple indie stuff that you'll mention eventually too, about some shows that happen. Yeah. Okay, that's it. That's what I got.
All right, then let's get into the April 8th edition of TNA Impact. The approximate runtime is once again 44 minutes and 19 seconds. If you want to watch along with us, head over to Impact Plus, or you can find it in your own personal collection. I'm going to count down from 3, and that's when we're going to start watching the show. And hopefully nothing is spoiled right before the match happens, because that would suck. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, play.
This is TNA. Hey, it's not playing on my speakers this week. Some reason there's a setting on my VLC player that it looks like I didn't click it, but it looks like it was like, oh, I switched it to come out of my speaker. Maybe I could track the audio like that. Is that how I could do that?
Oh, I don't know.
Like, okay, Bob, so... Okay, wait, I don't even remember where it was. Okay, so, you guys want to hear what's going on in this highlight package? Let's track it. Wait, it's too quiet. Okay, it's way too quiet. Does that work, Bob?
What?
I'm tracking the audio.
What do you mean you're tracking the audio?
Can you hear it?
I can hear on your side, yeah.
I'm doing like the Conrad thing. You guys want to hear the intro?
I mean, I definitely hear it.
I'm trying to do that thing. So then I have to go back here, and then I have to hit headphones again, and then I have to like adjust my volume again. Oh. Oh no.
Oh no.
A major announcement from Dustin Rhodes. It's going to affect everyone at Lockdown. Oh boy. Oh baby. Here we go.
Whatever could it be?
I don't know. No, I do got to say, I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. Lockdown 2005 is one of my favorite TNA shows.
Oh, we know. We remember that back 3 years ago when we first started the show. Can't wait for Lockdown 2005.
Here comes.
Oh, we're starting off.
I'm assuming Michael Shane. I say assuming because his name changes weekly, it seems like.
Yeah.
Okay, he's still Michael Shane. So, Bob, I have a note.
Oh, boy. Okay.
So the deal with Michael Shane still using his name is this. As Chris Sabin is coming out next. It says that after the decision was to go with Matt Bentley, his real name, after Michael Shane of the Shane Twins claimed that he had trademarked the name, Bob Ryder went to research it and found that it wouldn't hold up, so they are cleared to still call him Michael Shane.
Interesting.
So it looks like he's not Matt Bentley yet. It's just so silly, dude. I was like ready.
There's only one indie. Well, for Chris Sabin, there's 2 matches that he did. Michael Shane wasn't busy over the weekend. On April 1st, Chris Sabin lost to Chris Hero at Pro Wrestling Guerrilla All-Star Weekend at Night 1 in Los Angeles, California. And then on the next night, April 2nd, also for PWG, Chris Sabin teamed up with Frankie Kazarian in a losing effort against the PWG Tag Team Champions Arrogance, which was Chris Bosch and Scott lost.
Dude, I got to know about Pro Wrestling Guerrilla too.
Oh, man.
As Sabin and Michael Shane are really just going nice fast pace here to start off this opening match. My version is much shorter than yours, but also just references kind of what happened. So that they ran those 2 shows in Los Angeles over WrestleMania weekend loaded with top indie talent. First night drew a full house of 600 fans, including a bunch of people. But I don't care about that. We care about the highlight. Was said to be a 4.5-star match with AJ Styles defeating Samoa Joe to set up Styles challenging the PWG champ Super Dragon on the second night. And you're probably going to mention this too, but I'm reading it, so I'm just going to keep going. Christopher Daniels ended up retaining the X Division title with wins over Alex Shelley and Chris Hero over the weekend. And then it does actually mention, I didn't even notice it, the Chris Sabin match you actually just mentioned teaming with Sabin. Kazarian, sorry. Seems like a pretty fun weekend there as Michael Shane dumps Sabin outside the ring. Apparently, Carlito and Paul London were backstage at the show all dressed up, so they probably literally came straight from the Hall of Fame, it says. And, like, went to PWG.
Oh, that would make sense, yeah. You know, I didn't even think about it. I was going to say, that sounds like a pretty big card, but yeah, it's in LA. So, of course, that Mania crowd.
Yep. They had James Gibson going over American Dragon on the first night. All sorts of stuff, dude. Sean Daivari and Matty Holly were there from WWE.
PWG, I think, really started getting their recognition in 2005. Like the first 2 years, there was some good stuff, but it was pretty much...
It was a little bit...
Under the radar.
Yeah.
Sabin hammering away on Michael Shane.
It's actually, I wasn't really necessarily going to bring this up, but since I just mentioned Gibson there, Dave even makes a note that he's surprised that TNA or WWE hasn't signed either Roderick Strong or Gibson yet at this point.
Well, I mean, Gibson... I'm trying to think when he was fired from WWE. Because obviously that's Jamie Noble. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Well, I mean, you didn't know who Nikita Koloff was, so I didn't know if you knew Jamie
Jesus
Noble's
fucking Christ.
Anyway.
I already told you the Best of 7 series is some of my favorite shit, man.
Bullshit. You haven't even watched it. No, but the... yeah, so I think he was fired in 2004 for performance enhancing stuff. And his run on the indies for like a year is like really good. So eventually he does get re-signed by WWE. But Roderick Strong was a guy that I was like baffled had not been signed for years, because he was a Ring of Honor guy for over a decade.
Yeah, Roderick Strong's really good.
I mean, I know he has a brief stint with. I mean, we've seen him in TNA.
Very brief, yeah.
Very briefly, but even
couple
later
matches.
on, briefly, yeah.
Does he come
primarily for TNA?
Yeah, does he?
I think so.
Yeah,
wait. Yeah, I think so. I think I don't even care. It's been over 15 years. So him and another gentleman are working both TNA and Ring of Honor. And then there's like a pay-per-view, but there's like a snowstorm. This is like early 06.
Okay,
and both guys like choose to work Ring of Honor, and they both get like kind of fired. So he is brought back, and like was gonna get a push, but like decision to work with Ring of Honor still. But yeah, so he's primarily been like a Ring of Honor guy, or is a Ring of Honor guy for over like a decade, which blows my mind. He finally gets a WWE deal.
He finally gets a deal, and then all his friends leave, and now I don't even know what he's doing.
He's off television.
He is?
Oh yeah, has been on television I think since like August. They said.
Holy shit! Let the guy go.
That's what I would do. I mean, if you have nothing for him, and if they don't want to be there, just let them go. What is the point?
Let him be with his wife and friends.
Who's his wife?
Is it Marina Shafir's wife?
Oh, I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure she is. Holy shit! Look at this cover by Sabin.
You got him. Oh, he got him on that.
Wow.
Nice.
I have to confirm I was right about that. I'm pretty sure it is, though. Yeah, it is. Marina Shafir's his wife.
All right, cool.
Since 2018.
Where does she work?
She's in AEW.
She is?
Mm-hmm.
So like literally everybody. Oh, super kicker by Michael Jr.
Oh, wow. Is she good? Yeah, you can go ahead and watch and figure out that for yourself.
Okay, so that's a no. That's good. Is she
you
usually on Dark or something?
Yes.
Okay, well there you go. That's all it takes.
I'm like 3 or 4 episodes behind on Dark, and I haven't decided if I'm actually going to watch it or not anymore. I think I might be done.
Really? What about Elevation?
That's the same thing. That's what I
Oh,
mean.
you're concerned both.
Yeah.
Well, I hear they might have a third TV show on Saturday nights, 6:05.
See, but the TV shows will be better than fucking Dark.
Yeah.
We're at ringside here.
What if, here's an idea. What if these House Rules shows are just samples to do a 6:05 Saturday show?
Well, I did notice from pictures, they had like the Dark banners, and I think they're still recording that stuff. So eventually on streaming services, they'll have them up. It's just like the one they did in Jacksonville. Like that was recorded. There's footage.
Right.
Oh, let's see. Dusty Rhodes has the announcement. Oh, he's coming out. We have a second.
I think WWE has technically like recorded everything they've ever done, just not maybe like high production level.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I mean, if you go to a live event, you see a production team and like cameras and shit, so
Right.
they have to be doing something.
Like Tracy and what the fuck is that?
It's a spinner belt.
Oh, it's Dusty's head.
Face. Yeah. Is this a hip hop look for Tracy on the right there? Or?
I think it might be. Okay, so Dusty's talking about the greatest matches in the history of TNA. He's gonna revolutionize. Okay, Bob, I'm gonna track it. Ready? I'm gonna track it. I don't know how this sounds to everyone. We're testing. This is a test.
I mean, I can hear it.
Is it loud enough?
I don't know. I'd have to actually listen to the podcast, I guess, to figure it out.
This is just a test, guys. Okay, if this sucks, we're never doing it again. Lethal lockdown. Oh, it's brutality. It's war games, right? It's war games. Oh shit.
I don't know.
Okay, in case this sounds like shit, I'm gonna stop now because he's making some big announcements, and I want to make sure we're covering it. Winner of Abyss for Styles goes right to Hard Justice. After great consultation, after powers and meeting with different staff members, all the doors will be locked. Everything will be shut down. Women and children, you need to go hide somewhere.
That's a fire hazard.
Ready.
Lock all the doors.
Anyone with a pacemaker or weakened heart, you better go hide somewhere. Okay, for the first time in the history of pay-per-view. Holy shit! All 8 matches are going to be inside of a cage.
So what is funny? So Dusty Rhodes has officially announced that every single match at Lockdown will be a steel cage match. I don't know what that girl's doing.
I don't know either.
Anyway, she seemed like she got turned on by the idea of.
We also know that there's 8 matches.
Right? Yeah, he told us that. So the story is that he like pitched that as a joke, and then Dixie Carter was like, "Fucking love it." So they had to like end up doing it, but he was joking. He was like, "Why don't we just have every match in the cage?" And she was like, "Yeah, why don't we?" So that's what kind of happened.
That is really funny, actually. Chase Stevens looks like he's in singles action with Andy Douglas and Chris Candido ringside. Now, if you're at the time, I don't know if I was watching. I don't know, but are you excited about this? Like, if I'm not saying you watch it, but like, do you think people were like, "Oh fuck yeah," or is it like that's the stupidest shit I've ever heard?
Well, here's the thing. Unfortunately for me, I'm a sucker for a steel cage match.
Right.
So I think at the time when, what would AJ do? Is that what that was? Okay.
Yeah.
I think at the time I was probably interested about it because, I mean, it hadn't been done before.
I think
It's a quick way to kill a gimmick, though. I'll tell you that.
Well, what I'm going to say, yes. But what I would say is, I think it's okay if you don't do any other steel cage matches all year long.
Right.
Now, is that going to happen? I don't know.
Well, I know with, like, for instance, like 2010 TNA, right? There's the Lethal Lockdown. And then they do a Lethal Lockdown at Bound for Glory.
That's an issue.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that.
I'm just trying to take a guess. I don't know for sure. But I feel like they kind of stick to Lockdown for a little bit, and like that's it.
For cage matches?
I feel like they do. But I don't know for sure. We haven't had a cage match since what? Turning Point?
Yeah.
So we're already on a hot streak. We're in April.
Yeah.
Will we have another before the next lockdown? I don't know.
So if they don't, then I think you're right. I think that's a good thing. I know I would probably say until Russo comes back. Spoiler.
I think we're safe until that. Yeah. 30 minutes prior to lockdown, dude. Free warm-up show on your pay-per-view preview channel. Spoiler, we'll probably not find that. I keep trying. It keeps not working.
Yeah.
Featuring matches and interviews. Yeah, I keep trying. I really wish we could, but...
there's some indie notes here for Chase Stevens. For the USA Championship Wrestling out of Nashville, Tennessee, which that promotion is heavily featured on the Brian Turner VHS Rehab. I haven't plugged that in a few episodes here, but go check out Brian Turner's.
Hey, to be fair, Bob, we might have, but spoiler alert, we were off for 3 weeks.
That's a good point. So back on April 1st, Chase Stevens, he wrestled Eric Young to a no contest. And then on April 2nd, Chase Stevens defeated Eric Darkstorm for NWA Bluegrass in Paintsville, Kentucky. Let me see if AJ's got anything. AJ's usually pretty freaking busy. Let's see here. Yeah, of course he's been busy. Why wouldn't he have been? Well, as you mentioned, I'll just go from the... Well, okay. Back on March 25th, he lost to David Young. That's a shocker. At NWA Wildside Hardcore Hell Night 1.
Wow. In
Cornelia, Georgia, in a match that went 16 minutes and 55 seconds. And as you noted, on April 1st, he defeated Samoa Joe for number one contendership for PWG. And then the next night, he defeated Super Dragon to win the PWG title in 19 minutes and 34 seconds.
Wow.
David Young, that's a huge win.
I know. I didn't know Styles was on the show, or else I probably would have left off that part of my note that I said. But speaking of Styles here, though, are you done with your indie notes?
Yeah, for this match. Yeah.
Okay. Also, Styles wearing the red gear here. I love it. He's been wearing lots of blue, so the red is a nice change. And I gotta say, holy shit, what a kick! This match with Chase Stevens right now is like pretty freaking good.
I'm telling you, Chase Stevens as a singles guy is a lot of fun to watch.
Dude, this is good shit. Styles going for cover. Andy Douglas distracting the ref, and Chris Candido trying to nope, he dropped. Anyway, IWA has a big weekend coming up. It's their 5th annual Final Justice Tour from April 14th to April 17th, and TNA is sending some talent there. We have listed here Jeff Jarrett, Abyss, Bobby Roode, P.D. Williams, Chris Harrison, James Storm. And you're wondering why, Dallas, did you say, speaking of AJ Styles, it's because I thought I saw his name, and I did not.
Well, you committed to it, and you had to stay with it.
Had to keep going. Damn it.
Oh, Alabama Slam. Chase Stevens 1, 2. Kick out by AJ.
I can't believe how good this match is right now. The crowd is on fire.
They love this.
Speaking of, I do not have a crowd number for this taping. Sorry. Just didn't have it.
I thought there was going to be something more energetic, but instead it was just, I don't know.
No, I don't know him. Going for a powerbomb. No, roll through. Styles with a cover. And he picks him up. He's going to hit that Styles Clash, it looks like.
And there we go. And
boom.
1, 2, 3.
Academic.
That was a good match.
Dude, I got to say.
Tip of the cap to Chase Stevens on that one, folks.
Fuck yeah. That's good shit. Candido taking his shirt off to fan him with it was pretty funny.
Pretty good.
Abyss.
No, this.
Oh shit. He's getting in the ring. He's got a steel chair. Styles has no idea. Oh, he's making noise to try to get his attention. Oh, he got his attention. He turned around. Oh, they're holding him back, though. Very dramatic return from a commercial break here. Look at the tag team titles. That's right. Our champions, America's Most Wanted, sitting at the commentator's table. James Storm, Chris Harris. That's right. America's Most Wanted. Friend of the show, Chris Harris.
That's right.
That's right. Familiar territory. So now Team Canada and AMW and Six Sides of Steel. That's right. Look, they're happy about it. Couldn't have any better news tonight.
There's nowhere for them to run now, Tom West says for Team Canada.
That's a really good point.
David Young, Lex Lovett coming out here. David Young, of course, has basically transformed his body into being a lot better condition.
Lex Lovett has been teaming with Buck Quartermain, so it looks like he switched it up on us. And unfortunately, Johnny Fairplay is still not managing him.
Oh, that's true. Who's this?
Cassidy Riley, Dustin Rhodes.
Oh, interesting. All right. It's always weird. Like Cassidy Riley's like an enhancement guy, and then he's not an enhancement guy.
Yeah. Well, and he also like started off as not one. Like he was like a very regular person to appear.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Because it was like the Hot Shots. How could you forget the Hot Shots? They were loaded, dude.
Yo, they were packing some fucking heat.
Fuck yeah, they were. Dustin and David Young starting us off here. And Bob, I have some breaking news for you. Remember recently we talked about they were going to talk to Dwayne Johnson. They wanted The Rock to come in.
Yeah.
Well, Dave says he's pretty sure that there's been no contact between the two since the story about them talking broke.
I'm sure he hasn't answered the phone. What? Okay, if Kevin Nash is getting $5,000, what can you offer The Rock? Like, oh, we 15 grand.
I mean, you have to do something.
Yeah, but like The Rock's not going to come in here for 15 grand.
You never know.
Come on.
Maybe he's bored.
Bullshit.
He wants to go to the studio.
He's making millions on movies. So if he goes to WWE, it's like, oh, hey, we'll give you like 500 grand for a 20-minute match. You ain't going to TNA for 15 grand. Okay? Not happening. He's not going there for 20, and he's not going there for 30. He's not going there for 40, and he ain't going there for 50. And I could keep on going and going and going.
He was open to discussions.
Bullshit. Yeah, open. The Rock would treat that meeting like it was a stand-up comedy show. I can see Jeff Dream about Rock.
Oh,
Rock, we can offer you $20,000 to lose to me at Bound for Glory, and then he'd be like, "Oh wow, that's a great joke."
Jarrett's trying to figure out who he can beat.
Yeah.
David Young just swept the feet of Cassidy Riley when he was going for Alliance Halt, which scared me because I thought he was going to end up going for it still and like breaking his neck.
That would have been dangerous.
Tornado DDT by Riley.
He spiked them. He spiked Lovett there. Still waiting for that Lovett push with Father James Mitchell.
It's not going to happen, dude. It's just not going to happen.
Well, he's got to be being used for some purpose, right?
You would think. That's right. We have the U.S. backing us. Roll through. Oh, Riley. That's it.
Yeah. A good win for Riley.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to hear from the NWA World Champion up next. And Tenay's in the ring. You know, we're going to get some, damn you, Mike Tenay.
You shut your mouth, Mike Tenay.
I want Jarrett to be mad about the announcement, even though he was already going to be in a cage match.
That'd be good. Tenay, what's this garbage about me being inside a cage?
You were already announced to be in a cage.
You already booked well, damn it, Tenay. I don't care about what I'm booked and what I'm not booked.
Jarrett wearing bright pink today. A little different for the King of the Mountain.
It's a good look for him.
It matches that gold really nice.
It's my world. It's my world.
Oh, the pyro on the guitar went off right there. That was funny. During his entrance.
It's my world. My world, my world, my world, my world. I do like that pink on Jeff.
No, it's not bad.
Oh, we just had to bump into Tenay.
My world.
My world.
April 24th is the date. The Lockdown pay-per-view event.
It would be funny if Tenay mentions the cage and then Jeff be like, what are you talking about?
Lethal Lockdown match. Weapons will be involved. Bring whatever you want. Why is Tenay backing Jeff Jarrett up in the corner? There's going to be nowhere to hide and run at Lockdown. Mike Tenay. Why is it every time I come out here, you're blowing wind about Dusty Rhodes? After all the hell I've been put through, who's still the King of the Mountain? You hate to admit that, Beck. Tenay goes, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Just want to look at him.
Tenay, you're a know-it-all. Well, the great sports dynasties can't hold a candle to him. Is Monty Brown going to be mad because he said the Patriots?
Oof.
And he did call him a B+ ball player or something like that.
In a minor leaguer.
A minor leaguer, yeah.
A minor league baseball player.
I could care less.
I couldn't care less. Not I could care less. Because then you care.
Maybe he does care.
Yeah.
You just said last week, Kevin Nash, but unfortunately, this was 2 weeks ago.
Well, the taping schedule.
That was 3 weeks ago.
It's that Tennessee schedule, okay?
Right.
Like, oh, you hurt my feelings last month, and you could be like, that was 6 months ago. But
boom, 30 minutes, Bob. Bob, we've just crossed the 30-minute mark. Can you believe this? Show's flying. So, boys.
Well, this is flying more so compared to last week, which was full of video packages.
A fair global warning.
Mm.
I'm going to bring you a force of my wrestling power to you globally. Look at Tenay. Jesus. He's going to fire the second shot. I don't know one thing. And it will be violent.
So he's going to fire the first shot, and it's going to be violent. And this is towards who?
I think it's to like DDP and...
Is it like all like DDP, Dusty, and Waltman?
That's what I'm thinking. Nash, Waltman, yeah.
Nash.
My guess... Oh, here's DDP. Hold on. He's going right after him. My guess is, like we talked about last week, I think it might be BG James.
It's got to be BG or Conan.
Conan would be super interesting.
Well, you would think just because of the interactions they've had.
Mm-hmm. DDP stomping a mud hole and Jarrett in the corner here. Who's also wearing white pants, by the way. I respect it. Here comes the Outlaw. Well, he gets tossed out of the ring immediately. He tries to go after DDP, but nah, he ran.
Nah, he ain't gonna get him.
Self I-5.
Bang.
Bang. Elix Skippers. He's talking to some guy. He goes, let's go out after the show. Oh, Daniels. Go rewind the tape quick. I got to talk to him, Daniels tells him.
That's the cage they're probably using, by the way.
Mm-hmm. You sure you want that match? I'm the better part of Triple X, so you sure? Primetime's like, yeah, I'm sure. Not just an X Division title match, bro. Oh. Because you did the Hurricane run off the top, but you were the one who lost. Shit, he's talking a lot of shit. More experience, I'm smarter than you. He's talking a lot of baloney right now. Skipper just hits on, yeah, I'm gonna take the chance. I'm just gonna do it. We'd step up right
There's no referee.
So why would I want to beat you back here where no one can see? I'll wait till lockdown and be in front of the world.
The world being 20,000 households.
Right. Sounds like Kid Kash is coming out next.
There's that girl again.
Kid Kash with Lance Hoyt.
Every match in a cage.
Aren't you glad you used Dial? Don't you wish Kid Kash did? What the fuck? He took his time. Looks like Apollo is his opponent. Oh, just received a note. Shocker. Kid Kash, Chris Sabin, and Michael Shane. X Division escape match. You win by escaping. The last person in is the loser. Okay. Bob, you just missed quite the announcement.
Oh, what did I miss?
At Lockdown, we will be having an X Division. There was going to be a shootout match again, but now it's an X Division escape match. It's going to be Shocker, Kid Kash, Chris Sabin, and Michael Shane. And the whole point is you have to climb out. And I think they said the last one left is you lose. You just lose.
What?
I was talking, so it's kind of hard to hear fully.
So how do you understand? So the first person who leaves wins.
I think it's like a rankings bullshit.
A ranking system. Okay.
Yeah, and Kid Kash is standing up to Apollo right now. I'm not looking too big because he's not going for a gorilla press. Tables match: Jeff Hardy versus Raven. Whoa, we're getting big announcements at the bottom of the screen. Apollo versus Lance Hoyt. Here we go. X Division escape.
Shocker, Kash, Sabin, Michael Shane.
Whoa. Okay. Well, apparently we have a tables match now.
Inside of a cage.
Inside of a cage. Yeah, baby.
Hopefully the escape isn't like super narrow and then you can't get out.
True. I have one final note that I'm sick of holding on to. Unfortunately, I have bad news. And that's that Hector Melendez. You might know him as Moody Jack, who did the Spanish announcing as well as worked in production, helping produce the show. Well, he left after the last tapings and said his goodbyes. Now, I don't know if that's last week or the taping we're watching now, but he said he was going back to Puerto Rico, more because he was actually homesick, and he had some girlfriend issues, as opposed to it being wrestling related. But whatever happened worked itself out because, well, he was back this week. So, that's good. So he left, and I guess he came back. You just never know what's going to... That's why they call him Moody Jack, if you know what I'm saying. As Apollo is laying the punches in here on Lance Hoyt, and here comes the master of the Hurricane Rana with a huge one from inside of the ring. Oh, smash mouth.
Yeah.
Haven't seen that.
Now you're a rock star.
Fucking whipped him against the face. We have under 4.5 minutes left of this match. Bob, just so you, I'm gonna make a prediction because I know some of the future because I can tell the future. The X Division escape match is about to be pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. I think it's going to change.
You think the escape match is going to change?
Yeah, we're going to talk about it soon. Maybe.
I don't understand what you mean it's going to change.
Maybe in a week, maybe in 2 weeks. I think some things about it is going to change.
For an escape match.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Tune in next week to find out more. I'm not telling you off air either. You have to wait. 1, 2, cover. You can bring anything you want into the Lethal Lockdown match. Can you believe that? Now, unfortunately, we're not seeing like my favorite version of the Lethal Lockdown match yet. I think we have a little bit of time before that happens. But I like Lethal Lockdown when the top comes down. Spoiler alert.
Oh, when does that start?
I think it's only a couple years. I don't think we have to wait too long.
That's not. Is that in the impact zone? They do that.
That I don't know. I don't know if it
I
is.
didn't think it was. I thought it was when they start traveling.
It might be. I like that though, because the weapons are all hanging on the top, and then it just comes down. Like that's wicked cool. Crowd's booing Kid Kash. Those kids are pissed. Towel guy, front and center as always. Dude's got the best seat in the house. Is this match really about to go to a time limit?
I hope not.
You talk to fucking Larry Zbyszko.
The Fox box.
Under 2 minutes. Irish whip, ducks to close end. Kash comes back. Oh, spears the knee out from under Apollo.
In case anybody's wondering, there weren't any indie notes for either one of these guys, by the way.
That's a bunch of bullshit.
Well, tell that to the
What the
promoters
fuck?
not booking.
Dusty's magically sitting at the announce table, and Tenay goes, "That was pretty historic announcement. Yeah, that's pretty big."
And it's not like he just got there. He looks pretty comfortable.
I know, he does.
Was he just sitting there in silence for 8 minutes?
Oh, look at that springboard moonsault by Kash, but Apollo caught him.
100%.
He's flopping like a fish.
He's doing a Devon Dudley.
Eight cage matches. Okay, we're under a minute.
Yeah.
When you get under a minute, you're usually screwed. Here we go. Springboard Hurricane Rana by Kash. Freaking beautiful,
nice.
dude. That's why they call him the master of the Hurricane Rana. Off the rope. Tornado DDT. Oh! Apollo countered.
Worthy bird situation.
30-second mark. Yeah, dude. It's a bunch of bullshit. That's why Dusty came out.
Oh, because he's got... Oh, he almost landed on his feet. Yeah, because he's got to judge it, right?
Yeah.
Or is that Zbyszko?
Well, it usually is, but if Dusty's already out there, it's going to be Dusty. Oh! It was about to be 3, but Hoyt pulled the referee out. Oh, what the fuck? Disqualification. 3 seconds left, and they DQ'd him. What the fuck, man?
Oh, Siaki's in the ring, too. Get him, Apollo. Beat up Lance Hoyt.
Well, these two are fighting at Lockdown, so Siaki going after Kid Kash. They should have put Sonny Siaki in the X-Escape match then with Kash.
What? Is Kash is in the escape match?
Yeah, it's Kash, Shocker, Chris Sabin, and Michael Shane.
Oh.
He kicked him right where he eats. Oh my god, Apollo. Holy shit. He just threw the chair at Lance Hoyt and it nearly bounced in the crowd. I don't know if you saw that, Bob. But those
I did,
fans
and it almost hit like 3 little kids.
Kash got a chair to the face now. You could feel it in the impact zone. Sonny Siaki is going crazy right now. The fans just hand him that chair again. They're fighting up the ramp. This is quite the beatdown to end the show here. Kash and Lance Hoyt are like backing down from Siaki and Apollo. Let's lock it down, baby. That's what's going to keep happening, Bob. The next 2 shows is they're going to brawl everywhere, and Dusty's going to be like, we got to lock it down.
Lock it down. But guess what? If you lock it down, they can just only brawl in the arena, so you're not really solving anything.
Wait. Something is going on in the back. Do we have a camera? Oh my god, it's Kevin Nash. And he's beating the shit out of Chris Candido. Oh, and the Naturals. He's trying to get into the building, but guess what? It's locked down.
It's locked down. Okay, so Kevin Nash and Candido for the pay-per-view. That's going to be in a cage.
No, Kevin Nash is supposed to be in the Lethal Lockdown.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Okay, we went off the air. Bob, what'd you think of that one? I liked it.
I thought that was a good show.
That was a good episode.
Yeah.
Matches were really good, and we got some fun announcements.
Every match in a cage. So, I mean, in theory, it sounds like a good idea, but then, I mean, you're probably going to blow through the same spots over and over again.
Ooh, that's a really good point. I didn't really think about that.
So, you really got to choose it there. A tables match inside of a cage is interesting. So, I mean, the tables probably has to be in the ring already.
I would assume, yeah.
I would have to think, yeah.
I'm excited for that one, in particular.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to be a bad show, but
right. It's certainly going to be an interesting one. I can't freaking wait for Lockdown, man. We got 2 more weeks though before we even get there, and of course, as normal, we know nothing. I mean, coming off of this one, there's some exciting stuff. We got a lot of brawls and the big announcement: every cage, X Division escape.
Every match.
What's gonna happen? We have a lot. We're gonna have so much to talk about in coming weeks, man. It's gonna be a lot leading up to Lockdown, and I think there'll be a lot to talk about after. Some unfortunate stuff. There's a lot of stuff that's about to be happening in these next few months here in TNA.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always looking forward to pay-per-view days.
Oh, me too.
For TNA.
So. And hey, we'll find out if my my tracking it audio sounds like shit or not.
Yeah.
Because if that was a little trick and it works, that might be kind of fun sometimes. We'll see.
Yeah. All right. Oh, we have a good show. We have now just 2 weeks before Lockdown. But we still have questions. Is Kevin Nash gonna be there?
He looks fine now. So
he looks fine now.
I'm saying he's gonna be there. I think it's official.
I hope for his sake that he will be.
Me too.
So.
But
all right. Well, we still have a couple weeks here to see just what is going to shape up for Lockdown and what Dusty's Creative has in store for us. And I guess the only way to continue that is if we wrap up this episode. So until next week, for Dallas Gridley, I am Bob Colling Jr., and this has been the TNA Cross the Line podcast.